Can you feel the roar? Because we certainly can. Welcome to the Lausitzring. It's the second race weekend of the DTM season 2020. We're thrilled to be here. There's still no spectators, as you can see here on the empty tribunes. We're all wearing our masks, but we're excited to be here because we are racing, and that's what it's all about. And here this weekend, we are using the sprint version of the track. And one person who did extremely well here is Robin Frijns, because he is the pole setter. It's your second pole already this season. So it seems to be going well for you. Do you have a good feeling for this race?
Yeah, qualifying is definitely going really well. So far I've always been on the front row in the third round now. So racing in Spa, the first race wasn't so great with a lot of tire deck. So we don't seem to have a lot of tire deck here in Lausitz. It's quite low grip track. So yeah, the goal is definitely to stay out of trouble in the first lap, and hopefully we can take it from there.
All right, thank you so much, Robin. Best of luck for the race. And now here's your commentator.
Thanks very much indeed, Verena. Great to hear from Robin Frijns, who was perhaps a slightly surprised pole sitter after qualifying a couple of hours ago, having not necessarily set the timing screen alight during the pre-practice sessions, where in fairness, drivers are tending by and large to concentrate on longer run pace rather than going for out-and-out single lap time. So Robin Frijns on pole position for what is going to be the third race of the 2020 DTM season. I'm Chris Hartley, and delighted to say that I'm here trackside, overlooking the cars on the grid, perched higher on top of the grandstands, which sadly are empty still. But good news is that we are expecting there to be some fans allowed into the fourth round of the championship at Assen. It's going to be a very busy period for these drivers, because there's 5 weeks coming up and 4 race weekends within them, including the first of this back-to-back weekend here at the Lausitzring, because we've got 2 races here this weekend, as Verena said, using the shorter sprint version of the circuit, which is just under 3.5 kilometres long. And then everybody stays here, and next weekend, the third weekend of the season, will still be here at the Lausitzring, but using the slightly longer run version of the circuit, 4.5 kilometres long. Fabio Scherer there, who just before we came on air was doing some fitness warm-ups with his coach, including some juggling on the grid. You might think, what's he juggling? It's all to do with hand-eye coordination and just sharpening up the eyes, sharpening up the reflexes, and something that Fabio will have done, I'm sure, on his way to DTM as a Formula 3 driver. So we're situated in the east of Germany as we look at Gerhard Berger, the ITR chairman there, to the left of your picture, who's been working tirelessly to get this season up and running after the delays of the pandemic. Chatting with Jens Markart, the BMW Motorsport director. Ferdinand Habsburg, who was looking pretty good in the free practice sessions. He was in the top 3 in one of those sessions that we had yesterday, 2 free practices, but has to start the race from 12th on the grid today after qualifying. Robin Frijns at the top end of the grid, having had a very, very strong lap, and as he said to Verena, that's 3 qualifying sessions, and he's been on the front row of the grid for all 3 of them now. Right, we can hear now from the 2 motorsport directors of BMW and Audi respectively, with Verena.
So in this season, it's all about Audi and BMW. I've got both the team principals here, Dieter Gass and Jens Marquardt. Let's start with Dieter Gass. Obviously, with Audi, everything seems to be going so right at the moment. Really good, so I guess you can't complain, right?
Yeah, for sure. We had a fantastic start into the season. We were very pleased with what had happened in Spa. Really an outstanding performance of the team and all the drivers, and a perfect start. It couldn't be any better. Today again we are lining up top 3 on the grid, but we have seen that the gaps are extremely small. It was a very close qualifying session, and I think we're going to have a very exciting race as well.
I bet we will, and directly behind is one of the best BMWs, or the best BMW, which is in P4. So Jens Marquardt, P4 is your best BMW. Obviously Audi is very strong. So what are you going to do to fight for? I mean, it's only the second race weekend, but what are you going to do?
Well, obviously it's now a race, so yeah, we have to see. Our long run pace yesterday wasn't too bad. Yeah, still a small gap in qualifying, but now it's the strategy and the tire management, and yeah, we're closer, and we have to do the smart things now, and the drivers have to do the right things, and we'll see at the end. I hope it's going to be a lot tighter than it was in Spa, because obviously that's no fun.
We hope so too. Thank you very much, and to both of you, best of luck for the race. And of course, we're getting very excited to get racing, so here's your commentator.
Thanks very much, Verena. Great to hear from the respective heads of Audi and BMW, respectively. As Jens Marquardt says there, we want to be closer, and they certainly have, BMW, been much closer in both single lap pace and longer runs during the free practice sessions. In the second free practice session yesterday at the end of the afternoon, BMW's third and fourth with Marco Wittmann, the best of the BMWs. And Philip Eng was also going well. Sheldon van der Linde, though, the South African, has been the best of the qualifiers for BMW once again. He's going to line up on the second row of the grid for the second time this season. His worst qualifying performance has been a fifth place so far. So BMW is looking good. It's a circuit where mechanical grip and traction out of the slow corners are much more important than high-speed grip and downforce on the cars like we had at the super fast Spa-Francorchamps just a couple of weekends ago for the opening round of the DTM season. One of the rookies this year is Robert Kubica, who's joined us, of course, from Formula One, and this relatively is one of his home circuits because we're pretty close to the Polish border here, and he's been catching up with Verena Rast.
We're excited to have a new face in the DTM, former Formula One star Robert Kubica. Robert, you're only 500 kilometers away from here, and however, you've never actually raced on the Lausitzring. You're starting from P16, so it's going to be a tough race, I guess. Do you have a good strategy?
Well, I don't know if we have good strategy. First of all, in order to have good strategy, you need to have also good pace, which unfortunately we lack. So it will be, I think, difficult and tough race. But let's see. Also, there is a bit of small chance of rain around the circuit. So let's see what the weather will bring. And for sure it will be a tough race.
All right. Thank you so much, Robert. Back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Verena. And as Robert said, there is a chance that there might be some rain during this race. It's very humid. It has been here all week, really, and certainly yesterday it was pretty muggy. You can feel the lack of oxygen in the air, and there were some storms at the end of the day out in the distance, not right by the circuit, but there was a little bit of rain as I drove back from the circuit to my hotel, which is about 50-60 kilometres away in Dresden, and there was a little bit of lightning in the distance last night as well, but it hasn't really come to anything. However, it's still humid, and it was about 70% humidity this morning. It's a bit less now, around about 60%, but it's very much in the air. It's overcast. There are no big rain clouds above, but there is a chance, at least, that rain might come into play here. As you look at the championship leader, Nico Müller, whose weekend started very well indeed before he even turned a wheel in anger, because he was given the race victory for race 2 at Spa. For those of you that missed the story and haven't followed us during qualifying or the free practice sessions, the second race victory on the circuit went to René Rast, the reigning champion, but he was found, when they analysed the data in the week following the race, to have pressed his push to pass button when he was leading the race towards the end of the 26 laps. He did it twice. You're not allowed to do it at all as the race leader, and so there was a discussion about it, a hearing on Friday morning, and just before the first free practice session it was announced that René would get a 10-second penalty, which dropped him from first down to third place, and has given Nico Müller now a clean sweep of 2 race victories in the opening weekend of the season, and also Robin Frijns was promoted from third to second. So Nico Müller, with that, plus the fact that he's picked up another couple of points for qualifying second, the top 3 in qualifying all-score championship points, 3, 2 and 1 respectively. He's now moved on to 55 points. He's already 25 points clear of the next best driver, which is Jamie Green, who's on 30. And then you've got René Rast on 29 points now after that deduction. Robin Frijns on 28 after picking up another 3 points for his second ever pole position in DTM and his second pole position in as many weekends. Mike Rockenfeller, who had a very solid weekend at Spa, is next in the standings on 22. He's 5th. And Loic Duval, who has got into the top 3 as well this weekend in qualifying, he's also on 22 points. And in 6th place, the former winner of the Le Mans 24-hour and the World Endurance Championship. So it's pretty tight. Robin Frijns and Nico Müller are separated by just about a 1/10 of a second in the qualifying session. Loic Duval around about 2/10 away from pole position, and Sheldon van der Linde, as the best of the BMWs, is going to be lining up 4th, with Timo Glock and Marco Wittmann completing the top 6 here at the Lausitzring. So we're here to the east of Germany. The nearest town is Klettwitz. It is 20 years since this area bore out this racetrack. We're using the sprint circuit this weekend, and we're around about 130 kilometres south of Berlin, close to the Polish border and close to the border of the Czech Republic as well. This circuit built on an old, vast, expansive open-air coal mine, so the industry and the heritage of the area still can be found with various mementos around the area. These days, wind power has taken over, and we're surrounded by huge windmills at the circuit. Vast grandstands here at the Euro Speedway Lausitz, with the main grandstand alone, on which you can perch now, the commentary box. That can hold 25,000 spectators when it's full, and the whole place can hold 120,000 spectators. Grandstands all around. A tri-oval circuit which was built for kart racing in terms of the Indy single-seater series, which raced here twice in 2001 and 2003. But largely these days, of course, used for its infield sections. They do use part of the tri-oval, as in it's only got 3 banked corners rather than a main oval, which would be obviously with 4 banked corners. But they do use part of it. The start-finish straight, the turn off the main tri-oval just before they get to turn 1, and then come back on it at the end of the lap. This is how they're going to shape up. Robin Frijns on pole position for the second time this season. Championship leader Nico Müller alongside. Loïc Duval looking good in 3rd place. Sheldon van der Linde impressive once again in qualifying for BMW. Then it's Timo Glock who's qualified well so far this year. From Marco Wittmann with his best start of the season so far. René Rast, the double champion, starts next. Jamie Green is alongside. He's had 3 wins here in the past. Then it's Mike Rockenfeller and Jonathan Aberdeen to complete the top 10. The 6th row of the grid, we'll see Philip Enger lining up alongside Ferdinand Habsburg. We've then got Fabio Scherer and the returning Lucas Hauer, who got his maiden victory here at the Lausitzring in 2016. Another rookie, Harrison Newing, and a very experienced rookie, but not in DTM, Robert Kubica, make up the final row of the grid. 2 races then this weekend, as is the usual format for DTM. They're both 55 minutes plus 1 lap, and the grid for each set by separate qualifying sessions. So tomorrow we'll have another 20-minute qualifying session in the morning to determine the grid for the second race of the weekend. A busy time ahead then for the drivers and for the teams in particular, with this back-to-back weekend here at the Lausitzring. We go to Assen at the start of September. The week after that, it's to the Nürburgring for the first of 2 meetings there, using the longer GP version of the circuit. They use the sprint version of the Nürburgring the week after that. So 3 weekends on the bounce at the start of September. A bit of a break, and then the plan is for there to be back-to-back meetings at Zolder in Belgium before we round out the season. Obviously a very late finish because of the late start to the season on the 7th and 8th of November at Hockenheim. So there you can see the details with René Rast, the lap record holder here. That time sets the last time we used the sprint circuit, which was in 2017. We've used the longer version of the circuit for the last 2 seasons in DTM, but René Rast with a 1:17.098, the lap record holder. The pole time today, 1 minute 15.486. So you can expect that lap record, if all things are equal and the track remains dry, to be smashed, I reckon, during the course of this race. Robin Frijns then looking good at the start of this season, a real contender for the championship, having finished 5th in the points last year. Looking for his first win in the DTM. His best result so far this season, the 2nd place finish in the 2nd race at Spa. Last time he was on pole was for race 1 at Spa, and tyre degradation was a real issue for Robin and lots of other drivers. We'll be hoping that that is not a recurring problem here this time. It shouldn't be. It will bring its own challenges with the 600 horsepower that's being transferred to the rear wheels on these fantastic turbocharged 2-litre cars. Really pushing the limits of the Hankook slick tyres, which they all use. However, as I said, Spa with its very high-speed corners and much hotter temperatures that we had there. It was around about 8 degrees hotter, especially on the first day at Spa, than it is here at the Lausitzring. Had given lots of headaches to the teams and drivers in terms of preserving the tyre life. We've had in free practice some longer runs yesterday from some of the drivers. Marco Wittmann did a 16-lap run at one point. Lots of drivers have been focusing on the maintenance of the pace during the course of 10, 11, 12 lap runs. 1 mandatory pit stop in the race for everybody. And the car's about to head off onto the formation lap here And your first chance, if you're joining us for the race, to get a taste of what the circuit is like here. You can see them heading off. They'll be pushing up towards around about 285 kilometres when they head down this straight at full race speed. When we get the race underway in just a few minutes' time, and a heavy braking zone it will be on the way into turn 1. And then this sequence of corners through the first sector, absolutely vital. Down to second for the first turn, and then you hover through a sequence of left, right, left corners before there's a little link straight between turns 5 and 6. Hovering in first, second and third gears, build up the speed down to second gear when they get to turn 6, and then on the brakes for a left-hander at about 80 kilometres an hour. It gets a little bit quicker then in the midfield as they head through the mid-sequence of turns. I think straight between turns 9 and 10 to build up a bit of power again. And then there'll be a left, tight right at the penultimate corner, which they drop down to first gear for, and then accelerating up through turn 13 as they rejoin the banking and the exit to that final corner. Absolutely critical. Onboard cameras with various angles for your entertainment during the course of the race on lots of the cars that we've got here this weekend. We've seen some spectacular onboard footage so far this weekend, particularly when they run very, very close to the concrete wall as they come out of the final turn onto the tri-oval banking to complete the lap and get a good run, hopefully from their point of view, for the start of the next lap. We're seeing again the confirmation of the grid. Nico Müller, can he extend his championship lead with that victory that he picked up from René Rast? He's the first driver since 2006 to win the first 2 races of a DTM season.
3, 2, 1, stop. Absolutely perfect.
So Robin Frijns guided onto his position. Jamie Green with a better qualifying than he had in qualifying 1 at Spa.
1, stop, perfect.
He's second in the championship.
3, 2, 1 meter, half a meter. Stop, stop, stop.
And
Perfect.
Mike Rockenfeller being guided into position as well. Stop, 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 says the engineer. Make sure you don't overshoot that mark.
Forward. Stop. Perfect. Okay, have a good one.
So all cars lined up, ready to go. To the left of your picture, the pole sitter, Robin Frijns, as the green flag is waved at the back of the grid. Nico Müller alongside, looking for a hat-trick of race victories. It's the second weekend of racing for the DTM 2020. It's race 3. The red lights are on. Revs rise, nerves rise. We get racing here underway. It looks like a decent start for both of the front row men, but I reckon Nico Müller's got the better start here, just behind Sheldon van der Linde with a good start as well, trying to get the BMW up to third place. It's going to be Müller in the lead, Frijns in second, 3 abreast for third. We've got Timo Glock trying to get up the inside of Loïc Duval and Sheldon van der Linde, but it's van der Linde who gets third. Loïc Duval goes wide, Timo Glock goes even wider, so 4th place at the moment. And then René Rast going wide and on the grass as he tried to get through, and there's carnage further back, I'm afraid. Double yellow waved flags, and one of the cars go side by side now. Just in the background is Timo Glock trying to have a big go at René Rast. Both of them were in trouble on that first lap, but at the head of the field, absolutely terrific start to the race, off the line for Nico Müller. He's got the lead away from Robin Frijns. Sheldon van der Linde had a very good start as well. He's got himself up to third place, and then Loïc Duval dropping back to fourth. Marco Wittmann with a decent start, he's there in 5th place. Jamie Green's made up a couple of places as well, so he's had a good start. He charged through the field in race 1 at Spa, but he didn't really have a very strong first lap. Much better this time though for the driver on the grid that's won more races here at the Lausitzring than anybody else that's alongside him. 3 race wins here for Jamie. Look at out further back down the field. He's had a couple of wins here in the past as well, as they come out of turn 13 to complete the lap. And at the end of the first run around the Lausitzring, Nico Müller's going to have a fairly healthy advantage of 0.7 of a second over Robin Frijns. Van der Linde third, Duval in 4th, and then Wittmann and Green completing the top 6. René Rast survived his very wide moment to come through. Just behind them in 7th place with Glock, Eng and Rockenfeller next up. It's Fabio Scherer that was the car getting super wide and having a big moment out in the at the back of the pack. He's still going, but he's off the back of the group now and trying to catch everybody up. His next target will be to try and get onto terms with Robert Kubica. This is just how close they get to the wall then as they make their exit through turn 5. Get on the gas as promptly as they can, get as close to the edge of that wall as they dare. Sparks begin investigation, an incident in turn 3, which was the incident, or one of them, at the start of the race. But it's Nico Müller, the championship leader, looking to pick up another 25 points here as René Rast goes side by side with Jamie Green, gets alongside and goes through to pick up 6th place. Homing in next on Marco Wittmann, the 2-time champion in the BMW, a driver that was often fighting in for race wins and podiums last year with Marco Wittmann, the top BMW driver in the 2019 season, coming home last year in 3rd place at the ends in the championship. Only a single point picked up for Marco at Spa, despite what looked like pretty good pace during the start of the weekend during free practice. But Marco looking much stronger here. His pace has been good all the way through the free practice and qualifying sessions as Jamie Green picks up the toe, uses DRS, dives at the inside of René Rast and gets the place back. Timo Glock might get an advantage here as well, because René was put off his racing line and will have to go super defensive now to keep the luminous yellow car of Timo Glock behind him. You switch on board now. The ex-Grand Prix racer. It's a very bumpy circuit, this as well, the Lausitzring, which is something else for them to consider. Timo had a moment in the first free practice session yesterday where he got unsettled by the bumps and hit the wall. And Mike Rockenfeller having to go a little bit defensive as well to keep Harrison Newey behind. Jonathan Aberdeen thinking about getting past Harrison Newey for 12th place as they exited the turn, but it's as you were. The gap at the front of the field looks like it's coming down. It was 0.7 of a second at the start of the lap. It was half a second through the last split. It's less than that now, I reckon, as Robin Frijns begins to hunt down Nico Müller. Van der Linde looking very, very good in 3rd place. A bit of a gap back to 4th place then, with Loic de Waal at the moment fending off Marco Wittmann, Jamie Green, René Rast, and that group of cars. Timo Glock, of course, as well. So Green and Rast having swapped positions a couple of times on that lap, but it's the British driver who's ahead for now. Ahead of him on points as well, with Jamie Green just 2nd in the championship. Early days, but with all these races crammed in, you've got to think about points, think about hitting the ground running every time they get in the car. There's no time to sort things out. You've got to score big and quickly during the course of what's a very compressed season this year. You're watching the battle between René Rast in 7th and Timo Glock in 8th place, just off them. Philippe Heng, who looked strong in the free practice sessions, but struggled a little bit in qualifying. And the top BMW drivers last year as well. Best result for a BMW at Spa in the first weekend of the season was a 6th place finish. So at the moment they've got Sheldon van der Linde looking like he might, there's a long way to go, but might be in a position to challenge for the first podium of the season. As we get a replay now of the start, keep your eyes on Müller to the right of the picture with a good start, and just behind him in the red, yellow and white BMW, Sheldon van der Linde for Team RBM, off the line like a rocket ship as well. Frijns did well to close the door. There were 3 abreast just behind. Glock went on the grass. Rast went wide just after that. Here's a replay of the start from Sheldon van der Linde's perspective. And the South African nailed that, didn't he? Absolutely beautiful start. Right alongside him, you just see the nose of Loic de Waal's car and the yellow nose of Timo Glock's car as well. He held his line though, and they gave each other just enough space. Good driving from the pair of them. As into turn 1 go our race leaders, plural, because Müller has very definitely been joined by Frijns now. René Rast is still having to work super hard to keep Timo Glock behind him. The 2 Germans 7th and 8th. And this group of cars from Loic de Waal in 4th place all the way back to Timo Glock in 8th place, lapping very similar lap times currently. The last lap though, Robin Frijns was a couple of tenths quicker than Müller, which is why he's right on his tail now, in a position to try and attack perhaps in the next couple of laps of the race, but also mindful they need to make sure the cars and the tyres are able to get through. It's a pretty long race here, without too much tyre degradation. So Loic de Waal just about a length clear of then you'll see the DRS rear flaps and the huge rear wings on these cars opening up. Just going a little bit wide there was Jamie Green kicking up the dust. That will affect the visibility for René Rast. It's been a very hot, dry couple of weeks here, as it has in large parts of Europe, so that grass, when you go off the road, it's very dusty. That can drag some muck back onto the circuit as well, which doesn't help traction for those behind. Here are the top 2 then, almost a top 3. Robin Frijns looks, thinks about it, backs back off, tucks back in underneath the rear wing of the race leader, and all the time Sheldon van der Linde is coming after them. Sheldon van der Linde quicker than both of them on that lap. The new best lap of the race, 1 minute 17.570 seconds. Well, replay of the first lap again, a bit later on this is. René Rast going wide, and that was what happened to Fabio Scherer, getting spun around there towards the tail end of the field. Rast just understeered, just went a bit deep, and then off the grippy bit of the circuit. Very quickly onto the grass, he kept his cool and got it back on circuit. And then started to go back on the attack not that long after that. And here he is in super slow-mo, trying to fend off Timo Glock. Still 7th and 8th, those two. Philippe just started to creep onto the tail now of Timo Glock, and the number 25 blue Team RBM BMW, the Austrian. Looking pretty strong here. As we look at the number 22 car of Lucas Auer, which is at the back of the field and has just come back out of the pits. So Lucas, who was towards the tail end of the field anyway, has been into the pits. And here's a replay of what I think is a scheduled stop, or at least that's the plan now, after the fact that he didn't make up much time on the first lap of the race. Ooh, René Rast keeps an eye on the mirrors here and the rear view camera. It's full of BMW because Timo Glock goes this way, goes that, gets underneath the rear wing, tries to push René Rast along as quickly as he can, tries to give him the hurry up, but in the end ultimately can't find a way through because René positions that car absolutely beautifully and doesn't give any opportunity really for Timo Glock to come through, and actually now gets left behind a little bit, Timo Glock. So right on to that straight turn left now through turn 6. You can see how hoppy and bouncy the course is here. Accelerating up through turn 7 into another short straight there now go, unwinding the speed, unleashing the power, going up through the gears. Here's a replay of just how close it got between these two. If there wasn't any contact, they weren't far away. Great driving from the pair of them. Trying to sweep back to the inside here was Timo Glock, but the right-hander coming up was covered off by the two-time champion René Rast. Here are the top 3, and Sheldon van der Linde has absolutely caught up now to the tail of Robin Frijns, doing a superb job in this race. Under investigation, an incident in turn 1. That was one of the 3 incidents that we saw at the start of the lap, but I'll keep you up to schedule and up to speed if there's any penalties dished out. We get the information through on the timing screens here as well. But for now, it is Müller, Frijns, van der Linde in the lead, Duval in 4th, Wittmann in 5th, Green in 6th, Rast 7th, Glock, Eng and Habsburg rounding out the points at the moment. Top 10 score points, 25 for a race victory down to a single point for 10th place. All of the rounds count, no drop scores as you see the cars, and just how brave they get in terms of running as close as they dare to that wall. The marshal there with a terrific view of these cars thundering past. A reminder that at the previous round at Spa we had 3 drivers, the first of which was Fabio Scherer, getting over 300 kilometres an hour as Jonathan Aberdine's car has ground to a halt. It looks like he's recovering from a moment, potentially, rather than the car has stopped, looking at the angle, but we'll wait to see if we get confirmation of that. The way he's trying to turn the car around, it looks like Jonathan may have had a moment, hopefully get the car fired back up as he gets it back onto the tri-oval, and Lucas Auer at least has gained 1 place back here. So just the tail end of that, and the car going slowly. So maybe it was a car-related issue. He just pulled it to safety. Hopefully he'll get going and get back into the race, Jonathan. So we go on board with Sheldon van der Linde now, holding on very much to the top 2 Audis. 21-year-old former Audi TT Cup front runner and the VW Polo Cup South African champion. Looking very much at home this season in the DTM. Looking back at the 3rd place BMW now from Robin Frijns' car, with a vast amount of single-seater experience and GT experience as well, and multiple championships to his name. Sheldon, the 21-year-old from Johannesburg, looking very good indeed here. Now we have got pit crews being readied for drivers coming in fairly early this, but others might try different strategies. It's going to be Jonathan Aberdine that's coming in, but coming in very slowly, I'm afraid.
The best you can.
Copy.
Right, in comes Jonathan Aberdine. Change the tyres.
All the leaders will be behind you, so watch out. You start with cold tyres. You are with cold tyres. Pit stop light. Watch out, white line outside exit.
Car seems okay then. I mean, it looks very pedestrian, doesn't it, when they're coming down the pit lane, having to adhere to the speed limit. And it's going to come out a lap down, another lap down on the race leading group. Be careful not to go over that white line to the right as you emerge back onto the circuit. You do that, you get penalised. Oh, crikey, almost getting taken out there. And then going on the cold tyres, wide, no tyre warmers allowed in DTM. You have to be very, very careful there not to get clipped by Habsburg and Rockenfeller as they came past. Oh, and here's a replay of some contact down at turn 1. And Robert Kubica with a full 360. Spun all the way around and getting going again as Fabio Scherer begins his own recovery up through the field. And this was Jonathan Aberdeen going wide just after Habsburg had to take evasive action, and then Rockenfeller coming through as well. So even on a fairly hot day, you have to be careful, very careful with all that horsepower on brand new rubber as you come out of the pit lane. Muller's been extending his advantage over the last lap or so, so it's 1.2 seconds now that he holds over Robin Frijns. He's just gone through. Frijns crosses the line now. Actually a slightly quicker lap, but he's been spurred on here by Sheldon van der Linde in 3rd place, who's even quicker than the pair of them. The drive-through penalty for Fabio Scherer for the contact that we saw. So his race goes from bad to worse, I'm afraid. And the rookie is going to have to serve an additional pit stop to the scheduled one that he'll have for tyres later in the race. So here comes Muller. He'll be hoping that Robin Frijns starts to get involved in a battle now with the 3rd place car of van der Linde, with whom you now ride on board. I see Robin Frijns just starting to struggle to hit a few of the apexes here. Saw some drivers in free practice getting 8, 9, 10 laps out of the tyres without really losing too much pace. Conversely, Philip Engie in free practice too yesterday did 6 good laps, and then they dropped off the cliff after the 7th and 8th laps. He was losing the 2nd a lap, so it is possible to go longer in the race in terms of time than we had at Spa. Some very early pit stops indeed. Frijns working hard here. He's got the use of DRS and an 18-degree change on the rear wing to make the car slicker in a straight line. You can use push to pass as well to deliver a short burst of another 60 brake horsepower. Just behind, Timo Glock ahead of René Rast as they come through. So BMW finally gets ahead of the Audi, and René Rast not having his strongest weekend here so far. Free practice, he wasn't exactly setting the timing screens alight, but we thought he was concentrating on race pace. This is where the move happened then, the replay. Timo Glock with much better traction as he came up the inside of the tri-oval banking. Underneath the commentary box, Fabio Scherer is coming in to serve his stop-go penalty. This was the view coming out of turn 13 from René Rast, and not too much you can do there. Timo Glock, having got past, has now begun to rocket away. So Glock up to 7th, Audi's 1 and 2, BMW 3rd and Audi 4th, BMW 5th at the moment, the top 5. But much closer to the Audis it seems to be here at the Lausitzring. Sheldon van der Linde saying that the car was very good out of low-speed corners and hadn't really been able to show that with the circuit layout at Spa, which is the unique circuit, let's say. On board René Rast then, fighting the car a little bit here it seems. Got a race win here last season, it's the only time he's won at the Lausitzring. On the podium in 2017, got pole position here last year as well. In fact, his maiden podium in the DTM was here at the Lausitzring. From 6 races here, René Rast has had 2 retirements and a DNS, a non-start, from 6 races, so it's not been the kindest circuit to him over his few seasons in DTM. Marco Wittmann looking very solid in 5th place. He's coming after Loic Duval a little bit now as well. Look, we'll see what the lap times are like when they come back through. But the green and white BMW homing into just over half a second behind on the previous split. Over a 10th quicker through the first sector. And maybe all this work that Marco put into his longer runs in free practice is now beginning to pay off, because he was one of the drivers that was able to maintain a very steady pace with the car. When he did more than a dozen laps, not everybody was able to achieve that. So can he drive in this from Marco Wittmann? Don't rule him necessarily have a podium finish here. Still looking for his first win at Lausitzring. Best result for him, 2nd place a couple of years ago. That was the Grand Prix version of the circuit in 2018. Duval maybe at the back end of that lap, just getting away from him a little bit. Certainly getting away at the head of the field. He's Müller though, he's over 2 seconds clear now. Sheldon van der Linde will be itching to find a way past Robin Frijns, but it's not going to be easy. Duval in 4th. And then Wittmann coming through in 5th place, a bit further back now. I mean, got pretty close to the tail of the Frenchman at the start of the lap. Green 6th, Rast 7th. Pit stops now happening with Timo Glock making his way in, and Harrison Newey's in the pits as well. Looking at 6-7 seconds, something like that for a good stop.
Go. Pit lane 3. And Kubica passed, and gap to the rear is 3. Watch the white line.
And Harrison Newey now released on the gas, but careful to adhere to the pit lane speed limit. So those two get their pit stops out of the way. Timo Glock manages to rejoin in clear air. 7.2 seconds was a pretty good stop. All in all, we reckon it's about 30 seconds. That's from pit in to pit exit. Actually only stationary for about 7 seconds. That was Sheldon van der Linde going straight on in the background from 3rd place. You're looking back from Robin Frijns' car. And van der Linde has peeled for the pits, the first of the leaders to do so. So he's obviously got fed up of staring at the rear wing of Frijns.
You're going to come out with Glock. He has stopped the lap before. Okay. Remember the brake balance, rearwards and then forwards. Okay. There's no one else in the pit lane.
Valuable information.
Copy.
And instruction coming through to Sheldon van der Linde. Robert Sattler is engineer at Team RBM, the non-fair team.
Stop. Watch the white line, watch the white line.
6.7 seconds, best one we've seen so far. So he's the first of the pit stoppers from that lead group to come out. Careful on the cold tyres, but he's found some good open track here. And he's a good in-lap, which he's already done. And he needs a good out-lap now. Way ahead of Timo Glock, look in the background, he's already made his pit stop. So van der Linde gets 14 laps into the race before he makes his pit stop. I get the sense the pace was still good. It was more to do with the fact that he was unable to find a way past Frijns and losing time overall to the race leader. On board with Robin Frijns now, and in he comes to make his pit stop 1 lap later.
Pit lane. Copy, pit lane. Track temp is similar, so it will be a very long stint. You will have 28 laps to go. You will fight on the exit with van der Linde. He pitted 1 lap before you.
Van der Linde's at turn 8 at the moment. He was battling nose to tail with Robin Frijns for 2nd place.
Duval pitting also. Go.
Right, van der Linde is just about to head through the final turn. And he's going to carry a lot more speed down the straight as Robin Frijns gets out just in front of Loic Duval.
Watch the white line on the exit.
In the background, you saw the second of the cars to cross the line. He's the one they're battling against. The next one into turn 1, Sheldon van der Linde. He's going to sweep past, I reckon. It's going to be tight. He's going to have more momentum. No, maybe not quite. Oh, just behind them, but he's got more grip. His tyres are up to speed already. Around the outside of Duval he goes. And now he carries it up the inside of Robin Frijns. And Sheldon van der Linde, effectively, is going to be 2nd in the race, unless there are some real surprises behind with other pit stops. But it was a good stop. It was a good in-lap. And it looks like a very good out-lap that's put him ahead of Robin Frijns. So the gamble pays off. Loic Duval's had a good stop as well. He's much closer to the pair of them than he was prior to them all coming in. So at the moment, Müller leads by over 5 seconds. Wittmann, who was 5th before all of this, has come into the pits now as well. So Jamie Green temporarily is going to move up to 2nd. Rast will move up to 3rd. Look how close this was. Duval released. It's a good, safe release, I reckon. But he was itching to get past. Unallowed to do so, though, unable to do so. And then the pair of them had to keep an eye on the BMW. Sheldon van der Linde with more heat in the tyres, charges around the outside of Duval, and he didn't need a second invitation.
White line.
Right, time, but Wittmann goes out now. He should be behind those 3. He was a fair way behind them beforehand. But again, it looks like a good stop, and it's going to be tight. Van der Linde's going to be okay. He's going to be behind him, but he's going to have more heat in the tyres if he can get past here. But Wittmann is going to put himself ahead of Frijns and Duval. So there goes van der Linde, even though he was 4 or 5 lengths back. Wittmann's still getting the tyres up to temperature. So potentially Wittmann on for a podium here. It could be a BMW 2-3. They're both now ahead of Robin Frijns and Loic Duval. Timo Glock looking racy in the background as well, starting to catch that pack up. 17.7 last time for him. He's gone board with Robin Frijns now. His tyres 1 lap more up to speed, and out wide on the cold tyres goes Marco Wittmann. A spectacular shot as he kicks up the gravel, weaves, generates heat in the tyres. Robin Frijns dives down the inside and goes through. Frijns then regaining the position that he lost during the pit stops. He has to go defensive now on the way into the next turn as the BMW gets quicker and quicker. And at the end of the race, of course, Wittmann is going to have tyres that have got 1 less lap to use some further life in them, which might just come into play at the end of the race. Good stuff this, and very, very tight. There's been some close calls coming out of the pits. Terrific battle we've got going on here. Under investigation for more than 1 change of direction, though, is Marco Wittmann. That was after he went through the gravel trap, tried to shake off the muck from his tyres, get more heat into them, and also block at the same time from Robin Frijns. This is a great shot, isn't it, looking back from the Dutchman's car. This is the moment then that's under investigation. Out wide he goes on cold tyres, but it's as he recovers that he then weaves around a little bit to try and A, keep his nose in front, and B, clean the tyres up. Wittmann knowing just how crucial that was. Just understeered on the cold tyres. Did well to get out of what's fairly deep gravel there. Went it on the tyres a great deal of good. He kept his foot absolutely buried, didn't he? Right, a warning he's got, a black and white flag. So Marco Wittmann survives for now. The wrath of the officials as Rast comes in.
You want to go to race with Glock in front, Eng and Rocky, which haven't stopped.
Rockenfeller ahead of Eng as they come down the start-finish straights. Rockenfeller gets there on the way into the turn. That puts him temporarily up to 3rd place, that move. On the other side of the pit wall, René Rast having his pit stop. After a slightly lethargic, by his super high standards, first stint.
Okay. And they are slightly ahead in the S and push to pass. 1 lap.
Certainly going to be behind that battle between Duval, or Van der Linde, Duval, Frijns, Wittmann behind a lot of them. Coming out now. Careful as you rejoin, it's going to be pretty tight. As he got Van der Habsburg charging around the outside of him. But there was no chance really for René Rast, given the fact that he's on those cold tyres. So he's falling behind Habsburg now, but Habsburg will have older tyres for the end of the race.
So 24 laps to go, 24 laps to go. You're virtually P1. Van der Linde and Robin on P2 and 3. They're virtually 4 seconds behind you. They all have 14 laps DRS left.
Müller in the lead of the race comes in then for his 1 mandatory stop.
Pit lane is clear. Go, go, go. So we will meet Kubica, who didn't pit yet on pit exit, and Van der Linde 4 seconds behind you. 14 laps of DRS left, 24 laps to go. You had a good pace. You're not leading the race in the first lap now.
Yeah, just be careful, careful, Nico. Don't go mad on the cold tyres. He's well clear, or he should be, as he comes out in front of that pack with Sheldon Van der Linde. In front of Sheldon, Robert Kubica, who, as you heard there, is yet to pit. So a big cheer if you're a Robert Kubica fan, because at the moment he's running in 5th place. So Muller's rejoined 4th, but the top 3, Green, Rockenfeller and Eng, have yet to make their pit stops. Sheldon Van der Linde coming after Robert Kubica. You won't want to get held up by him because Sheldon still has a chance of winning this race. It's going to be hard, it's going to be tough. And he's going to have older tyres, don't forget, because he was an early pit stopper. And the driver is trying to catch for the lead of the race, Müller. He's going to have fresher tyres for the remaining 24 laps. So there's Müller, effectively the race leader, but 4th at the moment. Kubica has been easing up there, hasn't he, by the BMW of Sheldon Van der Linde. As I say, you won't want to get held behind him at all. But through the infield here, with the corners all flowing one into the other, it's not the easiest place in the world to stab one up the inside. Jamie Green, obviously, is coming to the pits now underneath the commentary box. And Fabio Scherer has come in for the 2nd time, but for his mandatory pit stop this time after the penalty earlier on. Van der Linde released, and Robin Frijns dispatches of Robert Kubica fairly quickly as well. So that then puts the pair of them up into 5th and 6th positions in the race. But as I say, they're effectively 2nd and 3rd. Marco Wittmann fires on at the inside of the former Grand Prix winner now as well. And the background. Jamie Green about to rejoin behind this group. There he goes. He's going to rejoin behind Timo Glock. Glock had a good stop, but Green will be gambling on the fact that he's going to have very strong tyres at the end of the race. He's one of the last to come in and make the pit stop. So he rejoins Philippe Eng, likewise. Should have good tyres at the end of the race as Loic de Waal gets up to the inside of Kubica, who's yet to make his pit stop, but a race for position. And that will put de Waal into the top 6 now. So Mike Rockenfeller leads the way. He's never won here at the Lausitzring, but Rockenfeller, for now, leads. He hasn't got the pit stop done yet. He's only 15 seconds clear of Müller. It's about 30 seconds all told to make your pit stop. So following that, he should be coming out somewhere at the tail end of the top 10, but then with very, very good tyres, and fresh tyres for the end of the race. So Mike Rockenfeller could be worth keeping an eye on for the last 5 or 10 laps of the race. Could be that he'll be going on the attack there as you get the splitter cam now. Bumpy ride over the start-finish line, down to second gear, hard on the brakes, turn it in, the circuit falls away, downhill a little bit here through to the right at turn 2, the left at turn 3 follows immediately. As you ride with Nico Müller, second in the moment, but effectively the race leader once pit stops are done. And you can see this is all about rhythm, this first section. You get one corner wrong, you probably get the line wrong for all of them. Close to the wall again as they get back onto the tri-oval very briefly before turning back off onto the infield. This second sector, accelerating now towards 150 kilometres, 160 kilometres an hour. Slow the car down in third gear for the next turn. Pushing the limits of these turbocharged cars. And nice clear air now between him and Sheldon van der Linde last time around. The gap growing between the pair of them. Müller with a 1 minute 17.2, Van der Linde 7/10 slower on the previous lap with a 1:17.9, but quicker than the group behind him by about a second. Keeping an eye on Robert Kubica, building up his experience in these DTM cars. A tough ask. It's been, of course, an unusual build-up to the start of any season. First time at the Lausitzring, but Robert is getting closer and closer to the pace. What's a hugely competitive field with the majority of his competitors having much more experience in these DTM cars than has he. Still a reserve driver for Alfa Romeo, and he was on Formula 1 duties at Silverstone last weekend for the 70th anniversary Grand Prix. Mike Rockenfeller definitely on for some points in this race, and could be pushing for a top 6, top 7 finish if the pit stop goes well and he keeps the life in those tyres. The pace has definitely dropped off now though, 1 minute 19.3 last time around. So probably time to start thinking about coming in, one of the slowest drivers out there. As the team watches on, can Nico Müller pick up a 3rd win of the season for the Team Abt Sportsline outfit, who now lead the team standings after the reversal of the positions at race 2 at Spa, with Team Rosberg looking down to 2nd place. Super slow-mo. Mike Rockenfeller did some long runs in the free practice session as well to try and work out what he could do for the race. So smart stuff from Rocky. Looks like it's paying off. Did a 13-lap running on the free practice sessions, and his consistency was pretty remarkable throughout that. So he knew he could get good life out of the tyres. That was clearly the plan from the get-go. 24 minutes left on the clocks, 55 minutes plus 1 lap at the end of that. And that 1 lap often is critical in the DTM. You get lots of late changes of position. These different tyre strategies that have been used throughout the course of the race. We're right once more on board then with championship leader, 6-time DTM race winner Nico Müller, and the driver that so far this season is unbeaten in terms of race wins. 25 points clear of Jamie Green coming into this race. It's a full race win away. Speak of the devil, there is Jamie at the foreground of the shot. Ferdinand Habsburg has just made his way past Robert Kubica as well. Habsburg having a decent race here. Looks like he could be potentially on for his first points finish of the year. Just a large part of the build-up to the first race at Spa after having a crash in the only free practice session. So he missed qualifying, he missed the first race as well. But Ferdinand, as I said, pretty competitive here in terms of the times that he's been putting in, particularly in yesterday morning's first free practice session. Rockenfeller still out. Still got Kubica Kubica yet to come into the pits as well, so he's running in 8th place. Learning the circuit, learning the car, learning how to get the best from his BMW. René Rast on board with him now on the attack, and he's trying to make the most of this race and pick up some points. At the moment he's currently running in 10th place, and having to work hard to do that as well, just to get this final point. Just ahead. Duval, I thought it was going slowly as he went past him before. That was Duval's car that's dropped behind him and he's pulling off onto the grass. So Loic Duval looks like another disappointing race for him after much promise from that qualifying session. The Frenchman parks it up and it's going to be the first retirement from the race, I'm sad to say.
Car is stopped.
Loic Duval out. We don't get much insight there as to exactly what might be the problem as Mike Rockenfeller comes in, look to the right of your picture. And that now just leaves Kubica to make his pit stop. So the last
You are clear behind, release.
Right, this should probably bring Rocky out somewhere around René Rast, I reckon. Just in front or just behind him potentially.
Go.
They go through. Rocky's going to have the freshest tyres of all, apart from Robert Kubica. So here he comes. Whereabouts is he going to rejoin? René Rast is somewhere near him, there, just in front of him. And Kubica gets through as well and gets to make his pit stop. So he'll join just in front of Philipp Eng. Philipp will charge in after him on this lap as well, as we've seen here already on fresh tyres. These cars are very, very twitchy indeed, and Philipp Eng is gobbling up Mike Rockenfeller at the moment, possibly about to find a way through. Well, that was happening. We saw going into turn 1, Wittmann having a big luck at the inside of Robin Frijns. So with Rockenfeller having come in, Nico Müller regains the lead of the race. His gap is bigger than it was before all the pit stops happened. He's 7.5 seconds clear now of Sheldon van der Linde. 3rd place, Robin Frijns, who you're looking at in the blue Audi. Just behind him, the green and white BMW. Marco Wittmann in 4th. Timo Glock is 5th, 5 seconds behind this pair. 3 seconds behind Timo. Jamie Green is 6th. Habsburg 7th, Rast in 8th, Kubica 9th, but they haven't been in the pits yet. Eng in 10th place when they went through the last timing beam. Yellow flag in turn 3, which is to do with the stricken car of Loic Duval. And for now, Robin Frijns survives what was on the previous lap, a pretty racy looking Marco Wittmann. There is the reason for the yellow flag. 1 retirement so far, Loic Duval riding high in the championship, coming into this 3rd race of the season. So van der Linde looking for BMW's first podium of the season. And it will be his first ever podium in the DTM. His best result so far, Sheldon van der Linde, is a 5th place finish at Zolder last year. His first season in DTM. Right, Kubica in, final driver to make a mandatory pit stop. ALT Grand Prix team.
You will be racing the guys coming behind you. You are racing the guys behind you.
I.e. make that car very wide, Robert. You've got some people on warmer tyres coming after you. Watch the mirrors, because you're battling against them. It's going to be the likes of Aberdeen and Scherer, I think. Yeah, they come through. He's got out well in front of them, though, and he's going to have good tyres, isn't he, for the remainder of the race. There's most of a lap down on Müller as he comes through into the yellow flag zone through turn 1. A bit of a lock-up there from the race leader. There's van der Linde, in search of his maiden podium. And Robin Frijns in the blue number 4, AB Sportsline Audi, comes through next. Slow zone has been deployed now as they recover the car. There is Loic Duval, hands on hips, waiting for the recovery to take place. So the slow zone now deployed, and automatically have to slow the cars right down through that sector. Speed limit of 80 kilometers an hour until they get out of the zone. Overtaking obviously prohibited as well, as the marshal's working just off the circuit there, not too far away, to get the recovery underway. So in theory, the gaps between cars at the end of the slow zone should be what it was at the start if everybody adheres to the rules. And Müller now puts a lap on Scherer, who's had 2 pit stops, remember, after his penalty for the contact earlier on. Van der Linde is much closer to him, that's for sure. as they come through. The gap was nearly 7 seconds, was over 7 seconds, wasn't it? 7.5 seconds. So disappointment for Loic Duval. He's had a good start to the season, picking up that second place finish in race 2 at Spa, and that very strong qualifying performance this morning. But alas, a DNF. There weren't many DNFs at all at Spa. We've had one here as Sheldon van der Linde itching to get a lap on Fabio Scherer, but he's not able to get through yet because he's coming into this slow zone. Right, we can hear from Verena now, who I believe has caught up with Ernst Moser down in the pit lane.
So let's find out what happened to Loic Duval, why he had to retire. What is the problem with Loic? Why did he have to stop the car?
Everybody there on the radio, something is broken on the, I don't know, brake shaft or drive wheel. This I don't know, we have to check, but there was, he cannot accelerating anymore.
All right, thank you very much for the brief information. Thank you, and back to you.
Thanks, Verena. Good work. Good to get some insight from Ernst Moser, the team principal of Team Phoenix, who've lost the car now of Loic Duval. They've got their home race coming up in a couple of rounds' time. Wait for rounds 5 and 6. We go to the Nürburgring. Scherer has a lock-up. Van der Linde will ease through now. But with Robin Frijns not quite on his tail, but not far away. Wittmann just being dropped a little bit now. Another lock-up from Fabio Scherer just behind as well. Van der Linde is how far behind the race leader he is now when they get over the start-finish.
Yeah, I'm in the slow zone.
So
he's trying to slow me down, man. He's not doing 80 kph. He's not doing 80 kph.
Okay, Nico, stay focused, stay calm.
So, replay there of the onboard radio. Müller felt like he was being held up. And that might explain why the gap did come down. It shouldn't really come down at all between him and Sheldon van der Linde. But at the end of all of that, it's just 2.8 seconds now. It was about 7. Still well clear, but Müller clearly not happy. Van der Linde second, Frijns third, Wittmann fourth, Scherer a lap down, Aberdeen lap down, and then you've got Timo Glock in 5th place, having a good run here, his best results of the season so far. There's Jamie Green getting on second in the championship. Well, there you can see him right in front of you. He's in 7th place, René Rast is in 8th, you've got Ferdinand Habsburg just in front of the pair of them as well. Good battle this now developing for 6th place. Super impressive stuff from Ferdinand Habsburg here when you consider the driver behind him has got 190 odd race starts in the DTM. Jamie Green, the most experienced driver of them all, and the driver behind him is a double champion in the DTM. So Habsburg, who's still a young driver, still a relative newcomer to this form of racing. Super impressive so far, the Austrian. They progressed up through single seaters at Formula 3 racing. It's with Team WRT. Best result for him so far is a 9th place finish last year at Zolder, so he's looking to beat that and beat it handsomely. Ferdinand Habsburg there in 6th place. The 20-year-olds from Iserlohn near Dortmund in Germany, he's in Vienna these days. Austrian nationality driver. And here's the replay of it all getting a bit wide for Ferdinand Habsburg. Had to be a bit defensive there, didn't he, in the number 62 Audi. Jamie Green thought about trying to find a way through. There was never a massively clear opportunity. Habsburg did just enough to fend him off, but it looks like he might have taken a bit more life out of his tyres there. Rast wasn't close enough to attack either, so remains there in the red and white Audi in 8th place. Well, this is a turn-up, isn't it? A much better run so far for BMW, who are now 2nd, 4th and 5th in the race. Müller, though, still leads. Gap's only 2.4 seconds, though. On that last lap, Van der Linde was half a second quicker. He's not given up on the race win yet, trying to go straight to the top step of the podium. 13.5 minutes plus a lap to go, and you can see the gap for yourselves. He's pretty minimal, and on that lap, he's 2/10 quicker as well. Sheldon van der Linde. You can see how much he's pulled away from Robin Frijns, who was on his tail more or less a couple of laps ago. And he's homing in on the race leader. Remember, Müller should have fresher tyres. Pretty late. So that might be an issue for van der Linde. But at the moment, he's holding on to the pace very well indeed. Robin Frijns, you can see the gap there growing between him and second place. Wittmann matching his pace just behind second of the BMWs. Not quite close enough to attack yet, but he's got close a couple of times since the pit stops. And he's certainly holding on to the tail of Robin Frijns. Top four then, all within the same shot of each other now. Even though he's a lap down, Fabio Scherer's pace is good as well. It's just at 1 minute 19.4. His best is at 1 minute 17.8. So not had that extra pit stop, points might have been a possibility because he had the off as well, didn't he, at the start of the race. Oh dear, slow zone infringement being looked at here from Mike Rockenfeller. So that's going to be investigated after the race. Rocky at the moment in 9th place and about 3 seconds down on that battle between Habsburg, Green and Rast, and with fresher tyres. So top 6 finish could be on the cards here for the 2013 champion. Far before he catches them up. There he is in the fluorescent yellow and blue number 99 car, catching them up in the background. Bringing Philip Eng with him as well, who's in the last of the points paying positions at the moment. There's Rocky in 9th, just behind him Eng in 10th, and they're catching the 3 cars ahead of them. Last time around, Rast, who's his next target, at a 118.7, a 118.6 for Rockefeller. It was good that time around. It was quicker, but only by a 10th. Running close to the wall again, homing in on Jamie Green. Only a point between these two at the start of the race, with Green just ahead, second in the championship table. Mike Rockefeller hopping the back end of the Audi over the bumps here at the Lausitzring. Gaps coming down, as you can see. He's gone from 4.6 to 2.6 seconds on the previous lap. Maybe had a moment somewhere, but he wasn't catching as much as he should have. Looking good again now, though. Go back to this battle between Robin Frijns and Marco Wittmann for the final place on the podium. Much better run here than he had at Spa in the race for Wittmann. So often the leading light for his team and for the BMW brand. Seems to be able to take a tighter line through turn 1, that's for sure. The car turns in nicely, homes in a bit more on the Audi, just ahead of him. Previous lap, Robin Frijns did a 118.4 and Marco Wittmann did a 1 minute 18.1. 3/10 quicker, and he's continued that on this lap by the looks of things as well. He's got a bit between his teeth here, and he closes up further still. He's right now with Robin Frijns. Wants to get this podium. Could there be 2 BMWs on the podium? It's absolutely a possibility here. And Audi still in the lead though, with Nico Müller just under 2 seconds clear now of Sheldon van der Linde. Van der Linde's doing a great job here, given he made that early pit stop. On that lap he was again nearly 2/10 quicker than the race leader. Fitness just fallen back a little bit through that sector. But there are points certainly around the lap where he's able to home right in on Robin Frijns. 2014-2016 DTM champion, who's had 15 DTM wins now. Hunting down a podium finish here to go on board with Sheldon van der Linde. Over the line he goes. This is very good stuff, a 1 minute 17.9. He's taken another 10th or so away from Müller. Trouble is, time is running out. If you take a 1/10 of a second away per lap, that's 10 laps just to get a second back. He's got to get more than a second and a half back. As we see René Rast now go on the attack here on Jamie Green. Looks to the inside. Not the first time he's got down the inside of Jamie today. Last time earlier on in the race, Jamie got him back pretty quickly afterwards, later in the lap. But for now, René Rast gets through, and he's got himself now into 7th place. Jamie Green trying to come back at him. The pair of them have just dropped a little bit of time while they battled to Habsburg. And they've got an eye on the mirrors as well, because Rocky, you can't miss in the mirrors, is getting bigger and bigger. Replay of the move from René Rast. Simple stuff. As he dropped down to first gear for that first corner. Hard on the brakes. Good overtaking opportunity. Jamie Green's the last of the late breakers as well, so it was never going to be easy, but René just had the benefit of being able to use the toe and DRS and good on the brakes as well. So the Swiss Nico Müller leading, but coming under some pressure now from the South African Sheldon van der Linde. 1.7 seconds down at the last split. Just under 1.7 seconds as they go through now. That lap, a 1:18.081, is so consistent on his lap times as well. Müller is too, but he's about a 1/10 of a second a lap slower. So he's just keeping up the pressure here. He might just get to him with a couple of laps to spare at this rate. As now Mike Rockenfeller has got onto the tail of Jamie Green, looks to the inside, can't find a way through. And Green fends him off for now. This is the battle for 8th place, 8th and 9th. Rockenfeller though with much fresher tyres here. If he can get past Green, he can quickly get onto the tail of Rast and Habsburg. Rast is catching back up to Habsburg. So there are potentially 3 places to be gained between now and the end of the race. And 7.5 minutes plus 1 lap's time for Mike Rockenfeller, and you can see the grip that he now has compared to Jamie Green, who goes out wide, struggling on older tyres here. They're doing a good job of keeping that Audi on the line, keeping Mike Rockenfeller just behind him for now. But Jamie Green, the Team Rosberg driver, looks like it's almost just a matter of time and when Rocky's going to come through. He's going to make life easy though. Every point he's going to count in this championship. Nobody knows that better than Jamie Green. He's come oh so close to the title on several occasions and really deserves to have been a champion at DTM by now. This too could be his season. Super strong competition this year though. Some drivers who are at the very top of their game coming into this season, all itching to get going again after the lockdown period. It's just a shame, isn't it? There's no crowd here to enjoy what's a fantastic race. But if you're all enjoying this at home, it's a good race as Rast closes up to Habsburg in the battle for 6th place. Rocky on green is going to stay behind him. Cher in the background doing really well to hang on to them and actually close up to them a little bit here. Fortunately for him, a lap down. There won't be any points here unless there are big problems ahead of him for others. Just the one retirement so far. Look to Val, go close to the wall. They get here, Habsburg and Rast. Right, what about the gap from 1st to 2nd? 1.7 seconds on the previous one. It's gone back out a bit now to 2.1. And a response from Müller that was, it wasn't really Van der Linde going slower. He's still lapping in the low 118s, but Muller's found a bit of pace. He's got himself into the high 117s. So now we're looking at Marco Wittmann, some 6 seconds behind the race leader, more interested really in trying to get himself up onto that podium. He's staring at the back of Robin Frijns' Audi for some time now. Over the line go the leaders. And Müller does a 1:17.8 and a slower lap that time for Van der Linde. So the tyres, I think, are starting to drop off now. 1 minute 18.4. So that's 3 or 4 tenths slower than he has been going. Whereas Müller looks to have been able to look after the tyres. And look at this in the background. Because Philipp Eng is drawn alongside Mike Rockenfeller. Micah is going on the attack, trying to get past Jamie Green, now on the defence. Around the outside of him goes Philipp Eng, absolutely side by side, but the BMW gets through. Terrific stuff there from the Austrian, and through he gets more points potentially by getting ahead of Rocky. What can he do now in terms of trying to catch the 3 ahead? BMW in amongst the Audis. Good move that, and Rocky suddenly falling away, having been all over the back of Jamie Green not very long ago. He's fallen back from Jamie and it's cost him a place now as well, with Eng coming through. So Eng 9th now, down to 10th place for Rocky. This was oh so tight. Brave stuff from Philipp Eng. If you're on the outside line, you're always at risk. He's only got to get a tap from Rockenfeller there, and he's off on the grass. He's got more distance to travel. He's got theoretically less grip on that part of the circuit. It was a very good move. Back on board with Sheldon Van der Linde, who continues to just away bit by bit now on the race leader. Still an absolutely magnificent performance it's been from Sheldon. As well clear of the 3rd place battle as well, which is still Robin Frijns slightly ahead of Marco Wittmann. Glock 5th, Habsburg 6th, but with René Rast still making a nuisance of himself in the mirrors as they go through turn 1. We'll go to that battle now on board with Rast, within a few tenths of a second of Habsburg. Habsburg looking for his best result so far in his short DTM career. Sophomore driver for Team WRT. He's going to have to fend off one of the best in the business though if he's going to hold on to that position. These two well clear now of that group behind, which is going to have Green, Eng and Rockenfeller all together in the battle for 8th, 9th and 10th positions. Harrison Newey is just outside the points in terms of position in 11th, but he is 19 seconds down on Mike Rockenfeller in 10th place. And there you go, Philipp Eng strong, getting onto the tail of Jamie Green in the background. He's going to be close enough to attack at the end of the lap, maybe run into turn 1 where he got past Mike Rockenfeller in such spectacular fashion on the previous lap. Rast not giving up. It's not been his strongest weekend for him or the team. The car just hasn't quite been delivering for him around here at the Lausitzring. But still, pick up the points when you can. If you can't get a win, you can't get a podium, just get the points. And that's what he's doing at the moment in 7th place. Let's have a look in the background. Having a slightly lonely race. He's about 6 seconds down on Wittmann in 4th. But he's about 5 seconds clear of Habsburg in 6th place. So good performance by Timo. Qualified well, as I mentioned, both times at Spa, but the races sort of faded away from him. Here he's been able to maintain good pace all the way through the race. Müller then 2.6 seconds clear, just under 2.5 minutes left on the clock, plus 1 lap. He's looking a bit more comfortable now for the championship leader. Van der Linde, best of the BMWs, in 2nd place. And Robin Frijns now just started to eke away, hasn't he, from Marco Wittmann. So the 2 Audis just edging away from the 2 BMWs in 1st and 3rd positions respectively. Blocking the BMW 5th. And now Mike Rockenfeller wants the place back because he was back onto the tail of the 9th place car of Philipp Eng. They're both reeling in Jamie Green. Well, not reeling him in, but just getting up towards the back of him. Jamie doing a fine job here, though, of defending his position without being too slow and too over-defensive through the corners. It's going to be a long couple of minutes, though, for Jamie Green. Mike Rockenfeller suddenly looking more and more racy, as we see in the foreground. Habsburg in 6th, Rast in 7th, almost nose to tail. Here comes Mike Rockenfeller, DRS deployed, inside line covered. Can't get around the outside like Philipp Eng did to him. He's not close enough. And if these two keep battling, that's good news for Jamie Green, who can stay a couple of car lengths ahead of them. And from his point of view, maybe hold on to 8th. Losing more points, though, to this man. They all are. To Nico Müller, who is in absolutely supreme form so far this season. First driver to get victories in the first 2 races of a season since Bernd Schneider in 2006. He went on to win that year's title, his 5th DTM championship. And maybe it's a good sign for Nico as well this year. Could be 3 wins now. Might start to think about getting onto that streak of 6 race victories that René Rast got at the end of the 2018 season. That's a long way away. There's a lot of racing to be done before you think about that sort of thing. It's the championship that's his key goal. Getting race wins.
This race feels like forever. Come on.
This race feels like forever, says Sheldon van der Linde. Especially the 2nd stint, I would imagine, after a pretty early pit stop. He's doing a fantastic job, though. Just wants to get the car home now, just wants to see the checkered flag. He's holding on to it, but he's not under any real threat from behind. Talking about threats from behind, here's René Rast having a big look now to get at the inside of Ferdinand Habsburg. He switched back to the inside line, he clatters the curb through turn 1, through turn 2. There's more curb being used. René Rast, though, no chance of getting through at this part of the course. He tried to cut back there at the last second, but Habsburg just saw what was coming in the mirrors and covered off the line. Really good driving from both of them. Terrific stuff in the battle for the final spot in the top 6. And there's your top 2. 51 Müller, 31 van der Linde. And then the battle, which isn't quite a battle yet, for 3rd place. But Marco Wittmann at times getting close back up to the tail of Robin Frijns. One thing for sure, Marco will not give up on that podium. Robin's going to have to work hard if he's going to secure it. Nico Müller on course for his 7th DTM win now. The clock has ticked down to 0, so the 55 minutes are up. Plus 1 lap to round out the race. 2.3 seconds the advantage for the race leader. Müller on to the start of his final lap of the race then. Van der Linde really keeping him honest here. And behind, Robin Frijns has just got 3.5 more kilometres to try and fend off Marco Wittmann now. He's been in his mirrors for such a long time here. Those two well clear of Timo Glock in 5th. Habsburg and Rast were still just 2 or 3 tenths of a second apart as they went through to start their final lap of the race as well. Nico Müller then on to secure another 25 points. His nearest rival coming into this, Jamie Green, is only down in 8th place. One of his other big rivals, René Rast, is only 7th. So he's going to extend his championship advantage by some distance here. It's going to be the perfect start to the season. Through goes Müller, through goes van der Linde. Still pretty tight in the battle for 3rd place, but it looks like Frijns has got this one covered. Almost home and dry now then for Nico Müller. He's driven superbly. There was that late pressure from Sheldon van der Linde, but he kept the life in the tyres. He comes through onto the banking, onto the tri-oval, and Nico Müller heads for the checkered flag. It's 1, 2, 3 wins for Nico Müller. He's your victor, round 3 of the
awesome
DTM.
job, Nico.
Yeah! And Sheldon van der Linde, second place, his first podium. Rounding out the podium finishes, Robin Frijns fends off Marco Wittmann. Glockholm in 5th place with a very good drive. And what about 6th place? It's going to be a terrific result for Ferdinand Habsburg, just ahead of René Rast. Green has fended off the threat from behind. Philip Eng and Mike Rockenfeller over the line almost together. Who got the run? It was Eng, 9th place by a 1/10 of a second as they crossed the line. Rockenfeller in 10th place. Terrific battle they had during the last 5 or 6 laps of the race. But Nico Müller makes it a hat-trick. 3 wins out of 3. Runner-up in the Championship 2019, leader of the 2020 Championship. Well, it just seems to be going Nico's way at the moment, and that, in a very large part, is due to the way that Nico is driving. He has got this car absolutely planted underneath him at the moment. He's got the confidence. We know got the ability from what he performed last year, and the team are working brilliantly as well to deliver a car which so far has been pretty flawless during the course of the season. It's a great win from Nico Müller. He's won on 2 very different types of racetrack now, which can only bode well for the whole season, can't it? If he can go well at circuits as diverse as Spa and the Lausitzring Sprint, then it should be quick everywhere. Müller wins by 2.8 seconds from van der Linde. Frijns comes home in 3rd, 0.3 of a second clear of Marco Wittmann. And BMW pick up their first podium of the year, thanks to Sheldon van der Linde. Super slow-mo replays then of your race winner, Nico Müller. Some great shots to see the movement in the suspension of these cars, riding the bumps and bounces of the Lausitzring circuit. It's the 7th win in the DTM for Nico Müller. Until 2 weeks ago, he'd only had 4 wins. His 105th race in the DTM is as successful as he could have hoped. Race victory as he parks up here. Robin Frijns as well. He's absolutely a contender for this year's championship, the way he's been driving. He looks the business as well, doesn't he? And it's a 9th podium finish now for Robin Frijns. The win, I'm sure, is only around the corner. Super well done as well. Sheldon van der Linde, obviously getting out of the car, very happy. I think probably a bit tired as well after what he said was a long race. Clambering up to the top of the car though, patting it on the head and punching the air. Your race winner is Nico Müller. Flawless drive once again from Nico. And a good race that. It was a tight battle at the front of the field. The pit stops were super close with drivers coming out just in front of others. There was good battles further down the path between Frijns and Wittmann for 3rd. Yeah, that battle between Habsburg and Rast and Green for 6th place. And Eng and Rocky having a proper ding-dong over the last 5 or 6 laps of the race as well. Star drive from that man, Sheldon van der Linde. He has joined the ranks of podium finishers in the DTM. 21-year-old, in his 21st race in the championship. Confirmation of the results then. Nico Müller, after just over 57 minutes of racing, wins by 2.8 seconds from Sheldon van der Linde. Robin Frijns in 3rd, Marco Wittmann 4th, Timo Glock 5th, Ferdinand Habsburg 6th, then René Rast 7th, Jamie Green 8th, Philip Eng 9th, and Mike Rockenfeller 10th. They are the points finishers in the 3rd round of DTM 2020. 11th place then going to Harrison Newey, the rookie driver, with Lucas Auer 12th. Robert Kubica, who was the last driver to make a pit stop, in 13th. 14th, Jonathan Aberdeen. Fabio Scherer in 15th after his 2 pit stops and a retirement to Loic Duval. The Swiss flag then proudly draped over the shoulders of your race winner as we get the national anthem.
Bereit für die Siegerehrung. Das Auto mit der Nummer 4 fährt auf Platz 3 mit Robin Frijns aus den Niederlanden für das Audi Sportteam Sportsline.
Podium format that we have for the 2020 season. Trophies coming up then for the drivers and making his way onto the third step of the podium.
Auf Platz 2,
Robin
21 Jahre jung aus Südafrika, Sheldon van der Linde für das BMW-Team RBM.
Sheldon van der Linde takes himself up onto the podium. Second place for the BMW driver.
Vom Team Abt Sportsline begrüßen wir Felix Fechner, den Chefingenieur, als Vertreter seines Teams Abt Sportsline.
Introducing himself onto the top step of the podium for the third time in succession. It's Nico Müller. The team, of course, pick up the team's trophy as well. Another victory for the team ahead of the standings.
Was für ein Clean Sweep nach dem Doppelsieg in Spa. Auch hier wieder ganz oben Nico Müller aus der Schweiz für das Audi-Team Abt Sportsline. Herzlichen Glückwunsch.
Swiss flag draped over his shoulders. Can't see his face, but you can see the glint in his eyes. It has been a perfect start to the season. And we now get the Swiss national anthem. Extending his championship lead another
bitte fürs
25
Foto
points. That's
alle drei
80
Piloten
points now.
bitte die
The,
Pokale
additional
hoch.
points he's picked up for qualifying at Spa and here earlier today. Days don't get much better like this. Make the most of it while you can. Motorsport has a nasty habit of turning its head on you, so Nico will know he's got to take advantage of days like this, and he's absolutely done that with the perfect
And now it's
race
time
here.
for champagne. Spray it,
Robin Frijns is going to be
but
up
do
to
not
second
drink it.
points as well.
Herzlichen
after
Glückwunsch.
that second podium.
Und
Champagne is unleashed. And three very happy drivers there. Not least in the background, Sheldon van der Linde after a terrific performance by him. But Nico Müller, no doubt about it, is the driver to beat at the moment. The team to beat at the moment are running him as well. Team Abt Sportsline. And the Audi still has the edge, but BMWs have very much come back into the fore in this third race of the season so far. So confirmation of the points after that race. 80 for Nico Müller, up to 43 in second place for Robin Frijns. René Rast is third on 35, still just a point between him and Jamie Green. Sheldon van der Linde moving up to fifth place in the championship standings as the best BMW driver, 26 points in fifth place. Mike Rockenfeller 23 in sixth. Then Loic de Waal, no points today, so 22, he stays on in seventh. Timo Glock moves up to 14 points for eighth. Marco Wittmann, 13 points now. That's much better looking for him after what was a disappointing Spa weekend. Some super slow-mo shots now then. Top three finishers. Third place, Robin Frijns for Audi Sport Team Abt Sportsline. Between their two drivers are absolutely racking the points up at the moment in the team's championship. Robin Frijns will be absolutely delighted with that. Second place, Sheldon van der Linde. There'll be a big smile on his face. Job well done by Sheldon, continuing his excellent form from the opening weekend in Belgium 2 weeks ago. Okay, we can hear now from one of the men of the moment who's speaking down in the pit lane with Farina.
Now, if this young man didn't wear a mask, I'm sure we would see a huge smile, that's for sure. Sheldon, congratulations on your P2. It's the first time for you on podium, and finally BMW is on the podium in this season. How does it feel and how does your heart feel right now? Is it pumping really hard?
Man, I'm so happy, Verena. You cannot even imagine. We worked so hard for this last year. Unfortunately, the moment never came. Our car was never really competitive enough. But today we took the chance when we had it, and the car was absolutely phenomenal. Those last laps really felt so long.
And also Lausitzring, how does it feel? I mean, it's a pretty bumpy track. I mean, it looks very difficult. How is that? And looking forward to tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, Lausitzring is an awesome track. It's probably one of my favorites now because I had my first podium here, but obviously it's not the same without the fans. I would have loved to celebrate with them, of course, but it is what it is. We take it today. P2, super happy. Hopefully we can take it to the Audi boys tomorrow.
All right, right. Thank you so much, Sheldon. I'm sure all the spectators are watching on TV, that's for sure. Back to the commentator for the moment.
Thanks, Verena. Yes, I'm sure there was some huge cheers back home in South Africa there. Terrific performance by Sheldon. And you'll never forget your first podium. And how long before he gets his first race victory? Maybe not long, the way he's driving at the moment. Super impressive stuff. Nico Müller, though, is your race winner for the third time this season. Verena has managed to catch hold of him down the pit lane.
Here he is. I mean, look at this guy. 3 wins in a row, Nico. That is really pretty incredible. Congratulations on your hat trick. How does it feel?
Yeah, very, very, very good. Just an incredible start to this whole weekend. To be honest, the preparation was far from usual. Yeah, I didn't have no time at all to really, go through the usual procedures before coming to a race weekend, as we were busy in Berlin. But the team did a mega job in keeping me up to date in the plans for the weekend. What points were that I should focus on, and kept the less important stuff away from me so that I could still focus on what counts, and it worked out. So big thanks to the team and to Audi for giving us a sharp tool. And yeah, we've seen today how quickly things can change. BMW was fully in the game. They really put us under pressure. I had to give it all until the end. You never know, especially with these new DRS rules. They can catch up any time, so I had to push all the way, and feels like a big relief to cross the line and score those 25 important points.
But Nico, I hope we're expecting a 4th win in row tomorrow.
I mean, yeah, we will try again tomorrow, that's for sure, but it's super tough. You have to put yourself into the right place in qualifying, and then you have to be on it from the first lap until the last. And I struggled a bit in the beginning, honestly, today. Robin was very fast. I just managed to stay in front, and I think that was the key. But if he passed me, maybe the outcome would have been different. So just happy it worked out today, and tomorrow we try to score as many points as possible again.
All right, thank you so much, Nico Müller. Back to the commentator.
Thanks, Verena. Well done to Nico Müller. As he said there, it's been a busy week or so for him, having 6 races in Formula E in nearby Berlin, as was René Rast. And as was Robin Frijns as well, both of the latter two having got onto the podium during the course of those single-seater international races at Berlin, about 90 minutes drive from here. So not the usual preparations for those 3 drivers coming into the DTM, but certainly doesn't seem to have held him back, does it? And also mentioning the fact that the increased use of DRS this year, which can be used in up to 50% of the expected total laps of the race, meaning that it's hard work to be a race leader these days. Right, we've got one more driver to hear from then, having finished on the podium, and he's now speaking to Verena Rast.
So we've got Robin Frijns here. Robin, you had a fantastic start, starting in pole, and now you're on P3. But being on the podium, I mean, are you still pretty happy about the result?
I think you can never be really disappointed with a podium, but always, if you drop back to the grid where you started, it's never really good. So I was hoping to go a bit more forward, but I think at the beginning of the race I felt really good in the car. Always the first 10 laps I always feel really good, and then I had at the drop more than the others, and then I'm a bit more struggling towards the end. So something to look at. We know the quality pace is there, so we need to focus a bit more on the race pace.
And also, I mean, on a good note, I know in the beginning of the season it's funny to look at the championship standing, but you're second in the championship standing, so that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's not too bad, but I'm not here to win the vice championship.
Well, we still have a lot of races to go, so I'm sure you'll catch up. And one more question, Robin. At the moment, we're racing here the sprint version of the track, and then obviously next weekend we'll be doing the grand, the longer version. So how does the sprint version feel?
It's quite, obviously it's smaller than a bigger one, but the tires have more stress, I think, than the other one, because you have more straights to cool them down, basically. But I think the first day so far, we know we have a good car, and I don't think that will really change for the bigger one. I think, as you can see, the BMW is really close, so it's going to be a great fight for the next 3 races here, for sure.
Oh, and we're looking forward to tomorrow. Robin Frijns, thank you so much. Back to the commentator.
Thanks, Verena. Yeah, when you start on pole position, there's only one place to go, and that's a race win, isn't there? It didn't quite come the way of Robin Frijns, but
awesome job,
too disappointed with the podium. That man beating him to the line
and
at
the
turn
whole day
was
and the whole weekend. Perfect
race.
job, Nico. Yes.
Good job, guys!
You can see the roar, just how much it means, that replay.
Danke, Jungs, mega job.
Mega job. Yes, it was, wasn't it, Nico Müller, with that that victory. But still, for Robin Frijns, going in the right direction. He got pole position at Spa in race 1 and ended up falling back down the pack to 9th place. So at least this time he's kept it on the podium. As he said, his qualifying performances have been excellent so far this year. He's the best qualifier on average so far, with a pole position in the first race, second on the grid in the second, and pole position again in the third. He just needs to get a little bit more late race pace out of that car now. But Robin Frijns up to 2nd place in the championship. There is, though, as you've already seen, quite a big gap between him and Nico Müller, who's on 80 points now. So 37 points clear after 3 races of his nearest rival. A replay there of perhaps the biggest challenge for Nico today, climbing onto the top of the car to make his delight in that race victory known to all that can see him down in the pit lane and everybody watching at home. Still only halfway through the weekend. There's lots more work to do, with another qualifying session coming up tomorrow morning, and of course tomorrow afternoon at around about the same time we're going to have another 55-minute plus 1 lap race at the start of a hectic period for the DTM. It's been a great race. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage. From me in the commentary box, that's goodbye for now, and I'll hand you back to Verena.
It certainly has been a very bumpy ride for our drivers, but it's been an exciting race, and we're all so much looking forward to tomorrow, because I'm sure we're going to see just as much action. So now here are the highlights of today's race. Do enjoy, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.